Hey gang, it's Spence from TrikePilot.com. You know, I started TrikePilot Social over 18 years ago in the year 2000. And back then I had driven myself down to Bloomfield, Indiana, down to Shawnee Field, where Rob Rollison was selling the Pegasus Quantums. After Dave Sweeney, rest his soul, gave me my first check ride, I spent the whole weekend down there flying, and I ended up buying myself a 503 Basic before I went home. Now, in those days, things were a lot simpler and a lot less expensive than they are today. So after I quickly migrated my way up from a 503 Basic to a 503 Quantum and then a Quantum 912, I decided I was hooked on this thing, and I decided to merge my love of photography, videography, flying, web technology, and socializing with my pilot friends. Now, at that time, there was a new social network platform called Ning that allowed me to share my love of all these things with you, my fellow pilots. After a few years of success, we moved to a different but similar platform called SocialGo, who was actually a client of mine at the time, and they had been offering this sort of all-in-one solution, same as Ning. Well, since that time, we all know how Facebook came along and has basically become that 800-pound gorilla in the social networking space. And along with it becoming so deeply embedded in many people's lives, unfortunately, it's also imposed a lot of costs. Many of you are uncomfortable with the privacy issues and that sort of thing, with sharing your personal data and your conversations and so forth on Facebook. And likewise, Facebook has kind of crushed all the small social network platforms, such as SocialGo, the one that was hosting TrikePilot until this month. So after I learned one morning that TrikePilot had essentially vanished overnight without a trace, I was faced with a really tough decision of what to do next. As many of you guys know, I spoke to you. There's almost 5,000 people in our community via email, via phone, via even Facebook to say, hey, do you have an idea what you want me to do here? And the consensus was that I should make an effort to bring back TrikePilot.com fresh, because all the old stuff's gone. And this time, however, to do it with an open source software called WordPress. And what that means is that there would never ever be the same issue of your privacy concerns or sharing your stuff on a platform like Facebook, or worse, losing 18 years of all of our stuff because somebody else controlled it. Now, thankfully, I'm actually in a pretty good position to make this happen because my livelihood is in creating membership sites and community solutions, as well as marketing automation for small businesses. That's what I do during the day. But the time required for me to do this properly, to do it right, would be significant. And more importantly, if I'm really going to make this thing a legacy this time, I mean, 18 years of my life, I can't believe I was like 12 years old when I started this. I really have to do the things that are proper from the get-go. So it's not without consequence. You see, today I'm a single dad. I've got 3 great sons, but I have full custody. And that's like a full-time job on top of my full-time job. So the only way that I can really build the type of trike flying community that's really special and really unique, like we kind of always thought TrikePilot was, but also could be, is if we do it like all the other great aviation communities, such as the one at EAA or AOPA and so forth. Now, all of those operate by providing a sort of symbiosis with their membership that's really not a charity. Really, it's more like a fair contribution per year in exchange for something really magical and special. Those are both places where pilots can kind of call them their own and feel a sense of pride and a sense of ownership when they're around it, both because of their financial as well as their informational and participatory contributions, right? Everybody's pitching in to make the better thing better for everybody. So what I'm thinking is, with the new TrikePilot.com, I believe that most of you guys will actually recognize that I can make all of the great things happen that you've been wanting to have happen for the last 18 years, while at the same time also being able to dedicate the type of time, the amount of time that would be required to really grow this now, sort of from scratch, into something better than it ever was before. So, if we're starting out here with a blank slate right now, I think the only choice is to turn this into a pledge drive model. And the idea is that we're starting with 18 years of practice and 5,000 potential participants in our community, but otherwise it's all new. It's all from scratch. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Kickstarter.com website, but if you are, you kind of know that there are some seriously cool and otherwise unavailable products and services that get created by asking a group of like-minded people to come together, pledge a certain amount of money that makes it a great deal for the value that they receive from the product or service. So I'm going to try to do the same thing here with this new launch of TrikePilot.com. I've come up with an annual pricing model. Pay just once a year, you get everything that's inside. This will allow me to launch the new TrikePilot.com on our own WordPress custom setup for this year, and then again repeats every year for many years to come. And this is an amount that I think is both fair and very reasonable for anyone that participates on the site, even just once or twice a month. Although many of you, literally hundreds and hundreds of you, are there every day. And I know it because I've seen you. So I've also come up with a way for the vendors and the other instructors, people that have a commercial interest in the trike flying community, to offer free memberships to any of their own prospective customers for the first year, instead of asking those people to come out of their pockets. And in doing so, that will allow them to bring new people into the community sort of on their dime, guests of the country club. Either way, this is going to be a rebuilding year, like they say in the sports leagues. So the more of you who say yes to this pledge drive model, the more likely that we'll have this place rocking it in no time. And in my opinion, even better than before, because we won't have any of the limits. Now, here's the plan. Anyone who visits TrikePilot.com publicly will see a sneak peek of the content from inside. It's kind of like if you go to a club, there's the velvet rope and the people can kind of see what's going on in the windows. But this would include some stuff from the forum and the posts and the videos and the photos, the comments and more. But if they're not a member and they don't log in, there's only a limited amount of stuff that they will see, so that the people on the inside will always have the choice to keep things private and so forth. But for those who are a member and they log in, they'll have full access to everything inside the club. That means all the best features. And specifically, I'm setting these up to be simple and easy to learn and mobile friendly. Things like photos and albums, video posting anywhere, forums, profiles, notifications, and more. But this time organized and set up in a super clean way without the limitations I had last time. Now, pricing is going to be based on the honor system. If you're a student pilot in trike flying or you're just curious, I'm asking for $50 for the entire year per person. If you're a seasoned pilot, I'm asking you to consider $100 for a whole year. You decide which one you are. Given how much incredible information, entertainment, friendship, and all the rest of the stuff that was provided by the original Trike Pilot for 18 years, it seems that this is a number that most of you said would be a real bargain for an entire year of access. I mean, it's going out to dinner, it's a few coffees or drinks. If you feel that it would be a nice way to say, let me help you to get Trike Pilot back up and running again, I think it'd be a great thing for all of us to do. Because if we all pitch in, it's going to happen. Now, for anyone who's a vendor or an instructor, I have a special pricing plan and some ideas available to you so that you can market and promote your brand or your products or your services, but in a thoughtful manner, something that the other pilots will feel like as a bonus instead of it being something like, you're imposing yourself. And at the same time, as I mentioned, I think I have a way for you to invite as many guest members as you want for you to sponsor. In other words, as part of the package deal that I can put together for you to not only be able to promote your services and products, you'll also be able to bring in as many guests as you want on your dime so they don't have to pay themselves. Now, I'm not setting a bare minimum pledge for this pledge drive, but I'm definitely suggesting that if we don't hit a certain amount of participation, I'll probably just say, nah, and refund any contributors' pledges that were given and just call it a day. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't think so. Based upon the great responses from the emails I've sent and the Facebook, I'm pretty sure you guys are all going to jump on board and vote with your credit cards. The main purpose of asking you community members to vote with your credit cards, even for the lower student membership amount, is so, one, I know that you want this, and two, that I know I can seriously focus on carving out a block of time for me to seriously focus on this and make it happen. Not just to build it, but to grow it. They chopped down the tree. It's gone. I literally have to take a little sapling and plant it in the ground and start all over. Like, it was the year 2000, now it's 2018. I was 12 and now I'm like 30. Wink, wink. So, if you love TrikePilot.com and you want it to come back better than ever, please show your support, either as a student member or as a pro, or if you are a commercial vendor, contact me at info@TrikePilot.com and we'll work out something that works for you and your business so you can promote your products and services in a way that benefits your bottom line, but also delivers great value to all the rest of the community members. So I'm hoping you will say yes to this, sign up now over at TrikePilot.com and demonstrate your support for this idea. Now, I'm actually looking forward to seeing most of you guys on there because I really know and feel in my heart of hearts that more of you than not are going to say yes. Even if it turns out that it's an experiment and only goes for a year, which again, I got 18 years behind me on this thing, that it's not going to be just a one-off. If you guys all jump on, we can really make it super cool. I mean, the more of you do it, the better it gets. The better it gets, the more time I put into it, and it snowballs into something that could be a real legacy. So let me know if you have any questions. Definitely give me your feedback. But by the time you see this video, the doors will be open and all of you can jump on board. And again, the setup will be nice. It's super clean. There's real simple stuff. I'm gonna make videos to show you how to use it, but it's a blank slate. So we can do as much or as little as we want, as quickly as you want, as long as you guys jump on. So I look forward to hearing from it and seeing you inside. The suspense.